What's up, family? My name is Trill, and we have some updated news to share about one state that is offering $500 monthly stimulus checks. Now, the applications to apply for these benefits actually opens up today. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and apply for these $500 checks. In addition, one state is now pushing to provide additional stimulus checks for dependents, and they are calling for these checks to be at least $2,000. It seems like these states are starting to compete with one another with the amount of stimulus that they want to provide for the American people. And last but not least, hey, COVID cases are still having a rise right now. But the main question is, will the United States have to revert back to a mask mandate and another shutdown? Well, one state is suggesting that we actually do. Now, before we discuss any of these topics today, I want to remind you that on this channel, we cover everything from what's going on around the world with the stock market, with the war in Ukraine, as well as multiple daily news stories around the world. So if you're interested in any of these topics today, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you end up liking today's video, then go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out this channel. Now let's go ahead and start with the video. All right, guys, real quick, I wanted to remind you about those two promotions that are ending at the end of this month. And they are, the first one is with Chime Bank, where they are giving out free $100. And the other one is with Webull, where they are giving you 5 free stocks that could be worth up to $2,000. Now, in regards to the Chime Bank reward, hey, right now, if you set up a direct deposit with your Chime Bank as being a new customer, they are going to give you $100 for free after you deposit a threshold of $200 from your employer. This is totally free money. And then with the Webull promotion, hey, all you have to do is sign up as a new customer and deposit $1, and they are going to give you 5 free stocks. And those stocks could be worth up to $2,000. Now, both of these promotions do end at the end of this month, so don't sleep on it and go ahead and sign up today. If you're interested, those links will be down below. Well, guys, in special news over the weekend, Macron was re-elected for the president of France. But Le Pen's big score shows that France is increasingly being divided right now. Now, the French president has won another term, but he does face rough ride after the far right reaches historic highs. Emmanuel Macron was re-elected as the president of France, and this happened on Sunday. Now, they're saying that the president's victory is clouded by the fact that his rival, an anti-immigration nationalist candidate who advocates banning the Islamic headscarf in public, has courted Russian President Vladimir Putin and wants to turn the European Union into an alliance of European nations. So that could get a little tricky here, especially as this invasion with Ukraine right now is going on. Now, they're saying that more than 12 million people chose Le Pen, which is the opponent, about 5 million more than during his last presidential bid back in 2017, an increase that suggests that her strategy of trying to bring her party into the political mainstream has been largely successful. So the result carries also warnings for the UE and NATO right now. So this is pretty interesting, as Macron ended up winning, but he is facing some tight runs against the opponent, Le Pen, which that shows these pictures right here, Macron on the left side, as well as Marine Le Pen on the right side. And you can see that it was pretty much a tight race, 58.5% to 41.4%. So guys, that's going on in other news. But right now we have COVID cases, guys. And yes, China's capital city warns of more COVID cases, as well as it begins mass testing in the central business district. Now, so far, guys, the city's business district began 3 days of mass testing on Monday for anyone living or working in the region. This particular increase in cases in Beijing comes as mainland China faces its worst COVID outbreak since early 2020, and most of Shanghai's, China's largest city, remains under prolonged lockdown. The country has stuck to the stringent zero COVID policy of using swift lockdowns, quarantines and travel restrictions to control outbreaks of the virus. And nationwide, Shanghai by far accounted for the most COVID cases reported for Sunday, more than 2,400 cases with symptoms and more than 16,900 without symptoms. So again, guys, these COVID cases continue to rise, especially right now in China, as well as the rises on in the United States as well, but not as nearly as much as they are having right now in China. But we are soon to see what exactly is going to happen here in the United States, especially as majority of states and cities have removed the mask mandate after the judge in Florida ended up ruling against the mask mandates on travel as far as airplanes, airlines, and any type of public transportation. So guys, we could see another rise in COVID cases here in the United States within the next few weeks or so. And this is not good, as the summertime is just around the corner. But again, guys, we'll keep you guys posted as any updates in regards to the COVID cases increasing here in the United States. In other news, guys, hey, protesters are now calling for Chicago to reinstate their mask mandate due to the rising COVID cases that they are having right now. It says both Illinois and Chicago rescinded their mask mandates back in February following decreases in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. It says that a number of Chicago residents stood together in the Little Village neighborhood on Sunday, pleading for the city to reinstate its COVID-19 mask mandates to prevent a possible surge following another uptick in COVID-19 cases. Now, the city's 25th ward, along with the members of the People's Response Network, expressed concerns about mask mandates being lifted locally and nationwide. Back in February, both of the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago rescinded their mask mandates after sustained decreases in the number of new cases and hospitalizations. But right now, protesters are arguing that Chicago's Department of Public Health didn't do a good job at handling the pandemic and said that the city's Black and brown communities are still at risk. The group also presented a list of demands, including reintroducing the mask mandates across the city and in Chicago's public schools. Right now, they said that, look, we need to make sure that we prioritize the well-being and the health of our students and staff in the Chicago public school systems. And we also have schools like Pilsen in the 25th ward, where we still have vaccination rates that don't even reach 50%, 30%, in some cases higher. Is it even possible that we're still insisting on lifting a mask mandate? Now, this group is also pushing for the expansion of the free COVID-19 testing for at-risk communities on the south, as well as the southwest and the west sides of the city of Chicago. And the Illinois Department of Public Health in early April issued a COVID public health warning, saying that case rates are slowly rising in many areas of the state, and health officials advised people to pay attention to the conditions in their communities and to stay up to date on their vaccinations. So again, guys, we now are starting to see more and more cities and some states actually pushing for them to reinstate the mask mandate. And this is after we have been going far too long without a mask mandate in place, in which individuals are just pretty much walking around in other places and going into different locations without a mask. And a lot of people are not even covering up when they're actually sneezing right now, which is a huge concern in regards to COVID-19 spreading around the world. So right now, we have Chicago is one of the first states that is pushing to actually go back in time and reinstate their mask mandates, as they are saying that the brown and Black communities are at risk right now, which their COVID cases are actually rising in those particular communities. So will we see more states and cities pushing this mask mandate to be reinstated again? Well, we'll just have to see, guys, moving forward. Now, moving on, guys. Hey, we have another state that is calling for additional stimulus checks. Right here in this article by Cal Matters, it says that advocates say that California should send $2,000 per child to the poorest families. And yes, as you might have expected, it says that Governor Gavin Newsom and California lawmakers contemplated on how to deliver the state's surplus dollars back to the Californians that are facing high gas prices and other rising costs of living. One group of advocates is pushing for another stimulus-like payment for the state's poorest residents. Yes, a coalition of anti-poverty organizations is calling for the state to send a one-time payment of $2,000 per child to families who make less than $30,000 per year. Now, this proposal is sponsored by Assembly Member Miguel Santiago, which is a Los Angeles Democrat. He said that it is intended to partly make up for the expiration of last year's expanded federal child tax credit payments, which we all really benefited from those child tax credits, I will say. But it does say that the child tax credit payments gave an expansion as much as $3,000 per child, as well as $3,600 per child under the age of 6 years old for families making low or middle incomes in the state all around. In addition, it says that researchers at the Columbia University have found that the expanded child tax credit reduced child poverty by more than 26%, with greater reductions among Black and Latino children. Nearly 90% of families spent the money on basic costs such as food, clothing, or rent, according to a liberal-leaning Center of Budget and Policy Priorities group. And the advocates have raised alarms now that the expansion of the program expired in December, citing the CBPP figures showing around 1.7 million Californian children are at risk of falling back into poverty. So that's why this particular group is calling for an additional stimulus checks to the poorest families in the state of California. And they are calling for these checks to be as much as $2,000. We have not seen this much being offered for at least dependents or children thus far. But what better state to actually call for this much to be offered for dependents? And yes, that is California, who right now has the largest surplus out of all the other states, guys, in which they are trying to give some of that money back from their surplus back to the communities and the families, in which they are trying to choose specifically these low-income families that make less than $30,000 per year. So if you live in California, hey, I really hope that they ended up passing a bill like this, because those families making less than $30,000 in the state of California, which is super expensive to live in, hey, that will be remarkable to offer this type of money to these low-income families. I am really pushing for that, even though I live in the state of Texas, and I'm sure you guys are actually voting for this as well. And last but not least, guys, hey, we do have some applications that are opening up today, and these are for the state of Chicago, guys. Recently, they approved of a bill that was going to offer monthly stimulus checks of $500 for at least 12 months, and right now those applications are opening up today for you to apply. On this article right here from 5 Chicago, it says that applications for Chicago's $500 per month assistance program is opening up this month. It says that applications will open later this month for a pilot program that will provide 5,000 Chicago households with $500 per month for up to 1 year. Now, according to the Mayor Lori Lightfoot, the Chicago Resilience Committee pilot will be one of the biggest monthly cash assistance programs in the country, with households chosen for the program receiving around $500 per month for 12 months. And in a statement, it said that I remain committed to making an equitable recovery from the pandemic to stabilize and ensure the well-being of all residents, Lightfoot said of this particular program. Now, the Chicago Resilient Communities pilot is a way for us to efficiently support the communities and the households that were the hardest hit by the pandemic with dignity, as well as to build on our work to eradicate poverty in the city of Chicago. Now, it says right here how to apply for these Chicago $500 per month assistance program checks. And yes, it does say this particular program is going to cost around $31.5 million, and they will launch it this year, guys. But right now, those applications are starting today. Right here, it says that these applications are opening up today on April the 25th, and residents can apply at any point for a 3-week period ending on May the 13th. Now, these application assistance will be available in person, online, with chat support, and over the phone beginning on April the 25th. And to be eligible for this particular program, residents must be at least 18 years of age or older older. They must also live in the city of Chicago, and they must have experienced economic hardship related to COVID-19. And lastly, they must have a household income at or below 250% of the federal poverty level. So again, guys, hey, if you live in Chicago and you meet these particular 4 criteria of eligibility, hey, I must encourage you to apply for these huge $500 per month stimulus checks that are opening up today. But yes, guys, I will include a link to this article down below in the description so that you can have an easy access to apply for these particular benefits. But anyways, guys, hey, I hope all this information in this video was helpful to you today. Well, anyways, guys, hey, that's all that we have for you today. Now, if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, hey, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like this video, then go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.